But yeah, let's get into some smoke.
Yeah, let's talk Hoosiers, baby. Fat Boy's already in the chat. He's saying UCLA is playing with confidence. Can't wait for this one. Feels good to hear Indiana be called the big boys. That is very, very true. It is euphoric to listen to people talk about this football team and not be disrespectful or like arrogant or like smug or it is starting to turn. And we'll get into some of the things that happened this week on one of my favorite platforms out there.
Good to be humble, just embrace it. Like act like you've been there before, even though we definitely haven't. So so burners go crazy, but like we're gonna be on here, we're gonna be humble, we're gonna be, I say that, but then I'm gonna hear my score prediction later. It's
We'll start here, Brad. The recruits in the class of 2026. I know there was some potential flip noise or some this or some that or whatever. All these dudes are locked in. Anyone who's committed with this class, I have the utmost confidence they're 100% locked in after seeing the way this team is played, watching the way that people at their position have performed. I don't see any way you can see that and then not be more excited to join this team. It seems like the general excitement across the class continues to rise, which is expected. And so that's really exciting to see. And so one of the things that happened today was like Ohio State is now focused on a Wake Forest flip. And why did that jump out to me? Because who were they trying to flip in the class of 2026 was Indiana commit Jaden Williams. Now they're on to somebody else because Indiana was able to play well enough and sell their vision well enough to stiff arm them. So it's a really exciting time to be an Indiana football fan. And like I continue to say, the future of this program is really, really bright. Like the class of 2025 that they brought in, very talented. The class of 2026 is stacking talent, and it's continuing to move up the rung. So those dudes are locked in.
Days, stacking weeks, stacking months, and stacking years at this point, Keezer? Is that what's going down? I mean, once the Oregon game happened, the floodgates are just going to open up when it comes to recruiting, and we're going to get access to those 4- and 5-star blue chip recruits, but obviously take our pick to the litter. I mean, I have insider sources that we're not, everyone's like, oh, we're going to poach Penn State's recruiting class. Like, they're just going to take their guys. I'm pretty confident in that. So, just trust the process. They're going to get their guys, stick to their process, but maybe just have, a little more access to the country now. And that's really exciting because you're going to be able to build off that. And, they're going to bring in guys. And, the reality is, probably not all of these guys are going to pan out. That's just how things go, but they're going to stick with the system.
They're much more likely to pan out if this staff is on them, though. I will say that.
100%. That's the beautiful thing about the whole thing is that, it's just going to continue, right?
Fat Boy's laughing at you, Brad.
I've never been at this point. I don't think UCLA has ever been ranked when I was following. Indiana definitely hasn't. I mean, last year is probably one of the highest rankings I've had of a team that I followed. 06, Maurice Jones-Drew team, Mercedes Lewis team, Drew Olson team. They were ranked 4 or 5, and then they were undefeated, and they ended up losing to Arizona on the road, a bad Arizona team, Willie Tuitama and the company on the road, and knocked themselves out of a BCS potential, and then eventually got walloped by Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and those boys later. But it's I'm gonna try my best, act like I've been there before. I'm gonna give him the old college try and go for it. Yeah, Slew says Fuchs, Keys, Sieg. Those are obviously the big guys that everyone's been kind of eyeing in terms of taking visits to Indiana. Thinks we at least land 2 of them. I'll say I think we're gonna land one of those guys.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. It's also hard to say what's going to happen at Penn State because obviously they're going to hire a coach, and if all those dudes were locked in with Penn State, then they could very easily just relock in with Penn State if they were that attached to the school. So it's definitely a wait and see with some of those guys. But I just think it's inevitable that you build this type of momentum that they've built, and it doesn't just attract more like guys that were on the fence. Guys that maybe weren't ready to make a decision yet, guys that wouldn't look in your direction. And then on top of that, like this staff is going to be able to eventually have its pick of who it wants to go after. And I trust the evaluation process of this staff way more than I trust 24/7 or On3 or ESPN or whatever site you want to use. So it's like all the people that Indiana scouts are going to start, like we had what was it, Bryson Beaver, who was the kid who flipped his commitment from Boise State to Oregon, then shot up like 800 spots.
Beaver, yeah.
That's going to happen to Indiana guys now, but because of the evaluation process of this staff. So that's really exciting.
That is really exciting. And I was going to call out a guy that flipped in the summer, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I just wonder what he's thinking right now. They're watching his new ball club lose to Stanford over the weekend. I think we can put the pieces together of who I'm talking about, but it's going to be yeah, you can stop me.
I'm going to stop you. We're going to move on. You know who can stop? Indiana. Indiana can't stop appearing in the top right quadrant of any positive college football graph that has come out in the last however long. The cluster of teams that Indiana finds itself around is like hilarious at this point. It's just like Indiana, Ohio State, Bama, Oregon, like all in just the one cluster. And that's pretty much every single graph that's coming out, whether it's like expected plays or explosive plays or offense, defense, or complete teams, or literally pick a graph, any graph of any football stat, and Indiana's going to be on the top right of that thing. And it is wildly impressive how efficient this team is. It's crazy.
It's insane. And the funny thing about that whole thing, whenever I see the graphics, I was like, oh my God, look how good Indiana was. They were in the same spot last year. I mean, obviously they took another leap to where they're kind of in a class of their own. In a lot
You're
of these
right,
graphics.
though. You're right,
like,
and that's
all
been
these
so
graphics that you're seeing. They were top 10 in all of them last year, and we still had people telling us how they weren't a good team. And a lot of those graphics are opponent adjusted, so saying they had an easy schedule really doesn't work in that argument, right? So it's it's just funny to see it that way. But yeah, let's keep running through the smoke.
I agree. Mendoza Pons, Carter Smith named midseason All-Americans from The Athletic. Shout out to those guys. Can't remember if we covered that last week or not.
Ron Smith and Mendoza.
Yep.
No,
you could argue.
No Surratt.
No Fisher. No
Coop. I mean, I saw someone with the Bolitnikov top 10, and I'm just like, how is Cooper not on that list? How? Like, yeah, both the Ohio State guys. We don't have both the Indiana guys. Like, I don't know. The brand brain continues in the slightest. We're nitpicking here, but
hey, it still exists. It still exists. Some more awards. The Joe Moore midseason honor roll for nation's best offensive line bestowed upon the Indiana offensive line.
Love it. I mean, Carter Smith's playing like the best offensive lineman in the country right now. He has a 99.3 PFF pass blocking grade right now. I don't think
I got a Carter Smith stat for you from Bite Size Bison. If you don't know Bite Size, if you listen to this show and you don't know Bite Size Bison, what are you doing? But he tweeted out that Carter Smith has allowed 1 quarterback pressure in Big Ten play and 0 in the last 3 games. Like, that is just wild.
It's gross.
Wild. The last 3 games are Michigan State, Oregon, and Iowa.
Teams with
0 pressures.
With guys that play Big Ten football. It's crazy that is happening because it's such a hard position to really, really dominate. And obviously O-linemen don't get enough credit because it's like you don't give up a sack. You really don't get any flowers, but you give up 3, you're cut. That was like a Will Campbell quote from his interview process, right? Will Smith got to be on that Outland watch, right?
Carter Smith?
Who did I say?
Will Smith?
Oh, yeah, I'm in Dodger mode. Fresh Prince. Carter Smith's got to be on that Outland Trophy watch list, right? I think he's got to be like in the lead too. Like I can't think of an offensive tackle that's had a better year than him so far. And he's probably shooting up the draft boards right now. And yeah, I'm basically calling him a senior at this point. Like, there's no shot Carter Smith comes back next year. Just the way he's playing. He's playing his way into a first-round pick right now.
I would echo that sentiment. Someone else who got some recognition who doesn't have the hard stats to back it up is Mikal Kamara, who got Lot Impact Trophy quarterfinalist.
That's the perfect award for him because we're talking impact, right? And I don't know if there's a guy that has made a bigger impact. That's a guy that's with, we're probably going to talk about it with Wyatt going down. Like that's a guy that's going to probably step up and maybe get a tick in production, right? And or we just continue the same thing and just change up a few packages, go 3-3-5, a lot more rather than going 4-2-5.
Well, I think we were playing a very hybrid version of a 3-4. Like Wyatt was definitely a hybrid outside linebacker. Like he didn't have his hand in the ground most of the time, unless I'm just misremembering the way we were playing defense.
Yeah. For me, it's not like hand in the ground doesn't like define. He was with D end in that defense, but yeah, it's all it's all just schematics.
Yeah, that does. The Wyatt injury sucks. Oh, it hurts because they don't have anybody with his skill set, and what he allowed them to do and how versatile he allowed them to be defensively is something that they're not able to replace. But at the same time, we have one of the best, if not the best, defensive mind in football in Brian Haynes, and it almost is going to be like a challenge for those guys in that room, in that defensive line room, like Buda Williams and Pat Kuntz, and like they're going to have to mix and match and change some personnel packages, and it's not going to look exactly the same as it did the first couple of weeks, but like there's a lot of really explosive playmakers in that room still, and a lot of guys with the opportunity to step up. So it creates an opportunity for somebody to go make some plays. We saw Stephen Daly, who I don't know if anybody was I don't know if anybody was able to catch Stephen Daly's presser today, but he said that he, as a junior in high school, weighed 230 pounds, made states for discus and track, and placed third in the 100-meter. He was playing defensive end and wide receiver.
A crazy athlete.
That's dude is a monster.
Stuff that gets you not just recruited, but like, you recruiting philosophy, you want the multi-sport guy. So just hearing his success in track and field, what it sounds like, definitely going to get you buzzed on the recruiting trail. Shocker that he was at Kent State this whole time. Shit team too. They're horrible last year.
James, you recruited him,
and it's it's crazy that that's the type of stuff that NFL guys are going to look at when they're scouting out this team, because at this point you're ranked 2 in the country. All your guys are getting looks. So come to Indiana, you recruits out here, right?
Let's go this way first. Speaking of people with multiple skill sets but did not go league, Mike Kadick got to meet Joe Thomas. That was a really cool interaction. They were talking about like his set and like how he was able to get out of his stance. And if you're just a football technician or a junkie like that, that was a really cool little interaction between Kadick and a legend.
Yeah, Joe Thomas, one of the best to ever do it, was fishing when he got drafted, 3rd overall back in 06. Yeah, he was like not in the green room. They're just like, yeah, he's fishing right now with his dad, so he's just waiting to get a phone call.
Kadick also narrated the homecoming trailer, which I thought was awesome. Really nice touch from the Indiana media, like football media apparatus that's been doing a kick-ass job all year.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis Moore got some nice Senior Bowl recognition this week, which was really cool. He's been having a hell of a season. As Fat Boy pointed out in the chat, Buffton Prime is the only site he trusts for player evaluation. Like, who was all over Lewis Moore being a high-impact player? Shocker. T-Cal had that one all the way, right?
Yeah, fantastic open field tackler. Has the interceptions production to put him into an all Big Ten, All-American conversation. I saw him on a with a, I can't name the site, but he was midseason All-American on that graphic and was the only Hoosier on it, by the way. It was funny to see. His impact on the team in a year where, I'm just going to call it how it is. Amari Farrell probably hasn't, I'm saying he's playing bad, but probably hasn't made the impact that we thought he would going into this year. And having Louis Moore kind of fill that role, fill those shoes has been so amazing for this team and a big reason why they've been so successful.
Speaking of reasons why Indiana's been successful, D'Angelo Pons, try 5, get 6, highest graded corner in the Big Ten, according to Pro Football Focus. That is not a surprise to the two of us or any Indiana football fan, but shout out to D'Lo for having a hell of a season.
Next. I already knew that. Like, come on.
Tell us something we didn't know, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. Players of the week for Michigan State. Fernando Mendoza on offense, Daly on defense, Radicic, special teams, and the scout team was Zachary Smith, Miles Kendrick, and Andrew Turby. Oh, Johnson.
Turvey. That might be a guy we might see. Might see 18 on the field. Might see some 17. Might see some. Oh my god, I gotta break out the old depth chart. Oh, oh my goodness.
We're gonna see some 17. We saw some 17 last week. Brad, I need your thoughts on the Cignetti extension, obviously, and I need like a 2.5 minute wrap up on your thoughts on Michigan State. So whichever one you want to do first.
I'll do Michigan State first. Wrap up on Michigan State. Love that they wore the green pants. I hate when teams wear the same colored pants. I think it's the worst thing ever. So I hope UCLA wears gold this weekend. But
you're talking about the two teams on the. Okay, I got you.
But back to ball. Yeah, about what you would expect. Michigan State played an inspired game. I'd say they showed up a lot better after getting their ass beat by UCLA. I think they showed up a lot more correct, a lot better than what they did after just eye test wise. Like there's just more effort there, more grit. They just, showed a lot more passion on the field, and that resulted in them, having the lead at some point early in the game, just like last year. But it really didn't matter. The offense was clicking. Mendoza really showed his, Heisman, what do you call it? Heisman. Yeah, he showed up like a Heisman that would, right? 4 tutties, perfect ball to, Surratt in the front pylon over there. That's an NFL ball with an NFL receiver catch with the late hands. That needs to be recognized with Surratt. And the big boys showed up. Coop, Surratt, EJ got a lot of action too. Loved seeing that. And they were throwing Becker and Brady out there, like we were saying, like getting those guys involved and trying to get them more involved with the offense. I think is going to be huge for this team moving forward. Michigan State did a great job stopping the run. For Roman Hemby, he had a quiet day, but Kalen Black stepped up. There you go. It's
and
like
Kobe Martin was great too.
When I said this team was loaded in the offseason, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? Wyatt goes down. Daly steps up for 2 sacks. Helmet sticker for Daly. Quick helmet sticker, Mendoza, Surratt, Coop, and Carter Smith. I'm going to give Carter Smith a helmet sticker, a long overdue helmet sticker, that is. Basically just like a midseason appreciation helmet sticker for the boy. And yeah, it was tough to not get out of that game healthy and lose Kellen Wyatt for the year, a very special athlete, someone who brings a lot of versatility to the defense. It's going to be great to see how they respond and change things up a little bit. Probably just more Roe Hardy, more Bones Jones, and probably a few other guys like a Turvey and Duke Way. We'll talk about it more during the game preview, but great showing all around. I called it during the preview. They have the talent on offense with Nick Marsh, Kelly, and Childs. He said he was bad. I don't see it that way.
Yeah, I don't think Childs is bad.
I don't think Childs is bad. He played a solid game for them.
Actually, I think Childs is really good.
Yeah, he made do, and then the defensive line eventually just broke through and really just made his second half of the game a living hell. So that's just how it goes sometimes when you play this sport and you play against the big dogs that is Indiana now. So it's a great game. That wasn't the blowout that we were expecting, but a dominant performance from a team that, it wasn't any, like, we can't beat everyone 56-10. It's unrealistic. So to win that game like that, very impressive. Didn't quite get the cover, unfortunately, but it is what it is.
Yeah, not great for the Gamblers, but no, I agree. It was a dominant win. They clearly didn't have their best game on defense. They still allowed 1 offensive touchdown. Like that's not a game where I walk away and I'm like concerned about the way they played, especially again, like I referenced over the weekend. Look at how many top 25 teams lost over the weekend.
It is October 21st, and Indiana Hoosiers have allowed 6 total touchdowns on offense this year.
That is insane. That is insane.
7 games, 6 touchdowns.
Absolutely insane.
I don't care what schedule you're playing, man. That's what Ohio. It's Ohio State level. Like it's too far to talk about too far ahead, but Ohio State's defense is getting all this praise. I'd say Indiana has played better offenses week in and week out than Ohio State. Like you can make an argument that this Indiana defense might be the best in the country.
I would echo that sentiment, Bradley. I
Yeah,
really would.
Heisman Mendoza, Waffle House for Bolitnikov, and then Carter Smith for Outland.
Well, I was gonna say this is why Indiana keeps showing up in the holy shit, look at this team's tough stretch tweets. It's like boom, Indiana right there. It's like yeah, John, we'll be in town this weekend. Don't worry. I was gonna get to that in a second. Right before we start the game preview, we'll talk. We don't really have a plan yet, but we'll talk a plan.
Yeah, we're planning on leaving Chicago around 10. So yeah, we'll get there. So we got to pick up Max and Indy. Anyways,
yeah,
he's not available that early, so that one we're leaving.
I want to get to it in a second. I want to get through the smoke first, and then we'll talk logistics. Heisman Mendoza, because you referenced it, Brad. I feel like this has to be a full-blown grassroots effort. I've changed all the Twitter accounts over to hashtag Heisman Mendoza, following Fat Boy's lead. Shout out to Fat Boy on that one. But I think it's got to start now. It's got to start from everybody. It's got to be constant. It's just like the kid's gonna go out there and earn it. So I feel like we just have to be as vocal as possible. What do you like? You have followed college football, the sport, for a lot longer than I have, or a lot closer than I have for a lot longer. So what does it take to win a Heisman in terms of the apparatus around the player?
Always one of the common themes. Obviously, big numbers is a big thing. What's kind of going on in this Heisman race, which is very unique, haven't seen it in a while, is that it's literally just the top 4 teams and their quarterbacks are kind of in the race right now. It's Sayin, Marcel Reed, Ty Simpson, and Fernando Mendoza, and go figure. Those are the best teams. They have the best quarterbacks. It's funny how that all works with the transfer portal, and everyone's kind of even the playing field. And when push comes to shove, who has the best quarterback and who's playing the best at that position right now is kind of the separator, and that's what you're seeing right now. It's a very unique kind of race that we're seeing. What it does take, obviously, the stats, and that's going to come with winning, right? Mendoza's ahead of all of them in touchdowns right now. He's great, only 2 picks. Ty Simpson has a better ratio, but like, what are we gonna like 1 versus 2 picks? Like, what are we gonna nitpick here? I don't think that's really gonna come much into play. What is the separating factor is a Heisman moment. It's a media award, right? And Mendoza in Oregon, that back shoulder to Surratt, Heisman moment. Mendoza at Iowa, game winner to Surratt. Funny theme there.
Guy's always open.
Heisman moment. And for Tutties in a rivalry game, that's another big stat game to back it up. I think he hit 300. Did he break 300 in that game too?
In which game?
Michigan State.
Yeah, I think there was 290, something like that. He was up there. It was his best passing game of the season, obviously.
Yeah, 330 for 4 tutties, with a 97 QBR, 24 for 28. Just disgusting numbers, Jesus Christ. But unbiased. That guy's in the lead for the Heisman right now.
Yeah.
And here's why. He's at Indiana. Underdog story. That's huge for the media narrative, right? What's going to be tough is there's a lot of Ohio State voters that are going to go Sand. Menzel's probably going to go Marcel Reed. Pavia's a little dark horse here that, if they keep winning, he might sneak in there, and that's going to be a big could sneak up in there into that Heisman race. And obviously Ty Simpson with that, but it's Bama, it's the Bama quarterback, Kalen DeBoer, great play caller, and that's not to say that we don't have great play callers here at Indiana, but that yeah, he needs to strike the pose. But like the thing with Mendoza, he's never gonna do that. Like that's not who he is as a person. It's like I just hope that all the voters are.
He's exactly the guy in the Edward Tone edits.
Yeah, seeing the type of leader and the type of kid that he is, and really take that into account when it comes time to vote, right? And I think it's important. I love that they're airing it out with him against Michigan State. I think they're going to continue to do that and kind of plump his numbers up to get that Heisman for him. And I think he's really in the driver's seat. He just keeps up what he's doing right now. He's in prime position to win that award. Unbiased. That is my unbiased master of the eye test. I mean, I called this kid Andrew Luck in April. It's it's just all coming to fruition.
Yep. I would echo everything you just said. The let's talk about the Kurt Cignetti extension. I have put plenty of thoughts out. You put out a brilliantly put together thread, I thought. So I just want to give you a shot to put your thoughts out on the show.
Yeah, what did I say?
Like, yeah, that guy, that was pretty good. Well, I don't even know what I said.
I just need it'll just help me get all my thoughts together. But like, I was just seeing so many, chatters about, it's a fully guaranteed contract, and that just doesn't happen in college football too often. And they're getting a lot of flack for it, whether it was David Pollock, Paul Feinbaum, go figure, a few SEC guys. At the end of the day, it's a no-brainer. Point one being, it's Indiana, right? We finally got our guy. Give him anything he wants. I don't care if we go 8-4 the rest of the way. I really don't. I really don't. I'm going to live and die with that guy because we finally have a guy in seat. I'm not going to let him go anywhere. He's going to retire at Hoosier as long as I have any control over it, any say. And then just beyond that, right? And a lot of it isn't even necessarily what he's done at Indiana, which is the obvious, right? 17-2, 11-1 or whatever in Big Ten play. Just levels of success that this program has never seen before. That's the obvious. What isn't the obvious is he's had 0 losing seasons, right? It's almost a foolproof, like we're going to a bowl game every year. And like, but when we hired Cignetti, like that was the goal. Like we just need a coach that takes us to a bowl game every year. And we have one, right? Obviously, no self-imposed limitations with this team, obviously. But like that's what Indiana's always wanted, bare minimum, right? And yeah, and then he's a fantastic recruiter. That was my second point. He's built this team in the top 5, right? Number 2 in the country, 7 blue chip recruits on the roster. Great eye for talent, and it's really just the system that brings these guys in and brings out the most of their potential and breeds success, right? And it's that talent evaluation that we've talked about before on this show that is a big catalyst for that, and that's going to continue, especially now that he has the national momentum of having access to these higher profile guys. Like this is a guy at NC State that brought in Russell Wilson and Phillip Rivers. He's always going to bring in a good quarterback with this ball club. His very first class at Alabama. Obviously, he's the recruiting coordinator, but he handpicked Dante Hightower. He found Mark Ingram, and he found Julio Jones himself and brought them to Tuscaloosa. He did that. He was the lead recruiter on all 3 of those recruitments. And then, yeah, he's a coach's son, Nick Saban coaching tree. He's a watchdog for complacency. They're not gonna fall flat on their face. They're just not gonna do it. And he just has a screw loose, right? Just a different wiring in his brain where he's just a little obsessed about the sport. And that's only just gonna breed success. With all that combined, it's just gonna, with the financial backing that he has, there's just no way this team doesn't continue to be nationally relevant as long as he's there.
Did you see the MOU today?
The what? MOU? Oh yeah. So basically, if Dolson or Witten leave,
no, that was one of many clauses in there. That was and not one of the couple I wanted to highlight. But no, the ones I wanted to highlight were if he reaches the college football semifinal, he's guaranteed to get a pay raise up to the 3rd, like no less than the 3rd, like highest active head coach at
any given point.
At any given point, if he makes the college football semifinal, I think anytime his like staff pool, like the pool to pay assistants, isn't at least 5th in the Big Ten and 10th nationally, they're going to review it. Meaning they're just going to redo it.
But what's great about Sig is that he doesn't need those MOUs. He's going to do it because he fucking wants to. That's the thing. That's why it's a no-brainer. That's the point here I'm trying to make, is that you can incentive is like, that's his agent cooking, right? Like getting all that stuff for him, right? Sig didn't give a shit. He talked to Dolson for 90 seconds, and then he talked to his agent, and the deal was done. Like,
yeah, Dolson walked into it.
He's like, don't bother me. I'm watching film.
Yeah, literally. He was like, can we get this done? And Sig was like, sure, go talk to my agent. I'm watching film. Like, I don't even care. And then all of a sudden he had a new deal. He's like, cool, I'm getting paid more. Like, let's go beat Michigan State.
yeah, it's sick. Like this guy's awesome. So,
But yeah, that Pam Whitten clause is if Pam Whitten or Scott Dolson are no longer with the school, his buyout gets cut by 50%. So whatever his buyout numbers got raised to, all of that gets cut in half.
yeah. So for all you people, obviously there's a lot of flack going Pam Whitten's way, and people want her gone. Mind you, I think in the long term, it's going to be better for the school.
This is a college football show, and I'm going to leave the discussion at that.
I think it's best for a college football program that Pam Whitten sticks around. All right, I'll leave it at that.
I agree, and we're gonna move on to Big Noon Kickoff is coming to Indiana this weekend, which I know I kind of threw. I don't want to say if I threw a hissy fit or whatever words I want to use, but I was a little bummed that it was a noon kick because selfishly I wanted, again, like I've been saying, more time to hang out in Bloomington. But that spotlight is a massive deal. That is the number one pick of game every week is Big Noon Kickoff. That also means Barstool in tow is going to be there. And obviously we have a very vocal Indiana supporter at Barstool, along with Mike Kadick, who is White Boy Rick. And there was a lot going on with Rick this week in terms of him and Big Cat. Big Cat talking about wanting to murder Rick for being an obnoxious Indiana fan, and then wanting to put Rick on the podcast if Indiana wins the national title. And so they settled somewhere in between. But Big Cat was in my mentions, Brad, talking to the Indiana fan. So it was a kind of a funny week in terms of the Barstool interactions.
Yeah, I'm excited. Maybe we'll run into him. Maybe we'll bump shoulders and grab a drink at a bar or something.
No, we'll be at upstairs. So yeah.
Fat Boy saying Nick Saban hates Sig. Sig must have, and then John saying Sig must have left Bama under bad terms. I don't know what that's all about. Either he's jealous, either he's maybe Sig left for that D2 program and Sig and Nick really wanted him to stay, and it just didn't really make a whole lot of sense to Nick why he was leaving. But obviously it all worked out for him, and it's kind of a fuck you that he's getting paid like Nick. Probably getting paid more than Nick. There's the inflation of these contracts, right? So,
well, I mean, think about it from Nick Saban's perspective. You have the best recruiting coordinator in the game, and you're just gonna be on autopilot essentially, and not like they struggled, right? But you just have to scramble and go get somebody else. I don't necessarily think Nick Saban hates Sig. A couple questionable comments in the media, but you also have to look at the team he's playing for, right? Like, it's not exactly a bunch of friendship going on at ESPN towards Indiana. So I don't know. He says a lot of really respectful things, and at least when Sig first got hired, it was nothing but respect from Saban. Like, that was one of the main things or main reasons why I was so excited about the hires, because at the end of that day, we got a Nick Saban quote that was like, they're hiring an incredible head coach. Carter Smith said today that Derek Owings, his saying is motion is lotion.
Pause. Like, come on. All right. Next. I can't handle that.
You don't have anything. He's saying like range of motion and like doing and like flexibility and all that is important.
Yeah, I agree, but just let's keep that shit in house. I don't. I do like how healthy we stay. Week in and week out.
We are a healthy bunch. That's so funny. All right, do you want to talk logistics first, real quick, or do you want to jump into game preview?
We could talk logistics.
All right. Yes, we will be in Bloomington this weekend. I'm pumped. I can't wait. I'm flying out to Chicago like midday Thursday. So we'll be in the Windy City on Thursday night. We'll be getting to Bloomington. I'm gonna try and make 50-cent wing Friday at the upstairs pub. So I'm pushing Brad to get up and get in the car early, but we'll see.
We'll
That's
see.
my internal battle.
Hopefully we can maybe get out by 9:30 and maybe make it there, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be in Bloomington all Friday afternoon and obviously all day Saturday. So reach out and we'll be more than happy to connect and play Sink the Biz at Nick's.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, we'll be
Got
at
some food. I'm getting hungry, man.
We'll be at Upstairs Pub. I'm not
What's
ruling out.
fries?
I'm not ruling out ZNC. I'm not ruling out going to the Home Field Apparel store. I'm walking around campus.
Post-game dinner, ZNC Saturday is literally happening. I don't know, like, what you think is going to happen, but that is happening.
I'm going to have to go to 4th Street. I'm going to have to go to Little Italy Market. Like, I don't have enough time for this shit, Brad. Like, I'm going to have to miss my flight or something. Like, I got stuff to do.
Yeah, no.
I can't wait to be back. Last time I was there, and I spoke about it a couple of times, but I was at homecoming in 2021. It was 50-6 Ohio State, and it poured the second half of the game, much like it did this past weekend for homecoming. And my buddies and I stayed. I caught a T-shirt, right? Like, I was like, I don't know when I'm going to get back to be able to watch this team again in Bloomington. And so, like, sounds gay.
Yeah, the motion is lotion. That's what I said.
Oh, he's talking about
that. Yeah, it's and then yeah. When's your flight on Sunday?
I'm flying out. He's a pause. I'm flying out Monday, like later in the day.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so we don't have to worry about rushing back on.
Yeah, but you know we have other people that we're driving, so we'll have to coordinate.
No, Ryan's flying out Monday too.
Well, there's another guy.
Yeah, and we'll get him to the airport on Sunday.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're good. But yeah, I want to play the hits when I'm in Bloomington. So yeah, we'll be at Nick's for sure. Not exactly sure what the time will be. We'll definitely be at Upstairs.
So it sounds like we can get a nice brunch on Sunday morning. That's good. That will be needed.
That will definitely be needed.
Give me 10 billion strips of bacon, please. Thank you. All right, I'm dying here. That will be me Sunday morning. I promise.
John, eventually we'll be at Upstairs Pub, but I have no idea what time we're going to be in Bloomington on Friday. But trust me, it'll be all over the socials. Like Brad and I we'll be posting more than I will be pushing content from Brad this weekend. We'll have videos straight from the Twitter account. We'll be active on Instagram potentially. We might even do maybe an Instagram live during the car ride. Who knows? I'm not ruling that out. But yeah, we're.
John, you want to watch your Dodgers on Friday? Oh my God, we could. It's gonna be a great day. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm very, very pumped. And then I want to walk around the tailgate fields and talk to people and do all this. I don't know if we'll have time for all that, but
yeah, I would love to go to the tailgates on Saturday. So
yeah, the day they tailgate. Yeah, that'd be.
Would love to.
Probably not get there on Friday.
Would love the.
Although honestly, I wouldn't mind getting.
We don't have any tailgate plans
on Friday night either.
Out, would love to hop in the tailgate and talk ball with anyone. So.
Yeah, we'll be around. We will definitely be around. But yeah, could not be more excited. And
Bloomington, bring some Millers or something. I'll help out.
The football program, the football team, the vibes could not be any more different than the last time I was there. Like I'm excited.
Really excited to see what it looks like now, because the last time I was there was Cincinnati. So
I've never seen it more than like half filled.
It was pretty packed at a first Ohio State game of freshman year.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's true. Like 75%, but it's like 60% opposing fan base. Like I've never seen it rock for the Indiana Hoosiers. Like I've never been like, holy cow, like in person, like through the TV in this era of Indiana football. Hell yeah, I have. And that's why I'm so excited to go see this team play live. I'm excited to see the team speed. I'm just excited to see the scheme and the execution in person. Like a couple weeks ago, I was at South Carolina and Kentucky. And like, I know Indiana would wax both those teams, you know what I mean? But just to like have that frame of reference of like what a football team looks like in 2025 and to be able to go look at what this Indiana team looks like. Ooh, baby. I'm excited.
I'm horny.